we're back with Legends of Tomorrow, which had a deeply uncomfortable but eye-opening, hopefully, to some of you, episode. And so, Phil, do you want to tell us how you felt watching it? Because
well, you listen. I want to look. First of all, I'm always bouncing around, and I've got all of this energy. But I got to tell you, this thing really took me back. Really, I mean, I mentioned before last week that I'm a dad, and there's certain things, and being a black man who raised a black son, that you want to instill certain things in them about who they are and their culture. And it was really interesting how they took this whole concept of taking today's 21st century mentality back to 1863, and that was a powerful thing to do because it shows you how much you really have. It shows you how fortunate and how blessed you are, even though things aren't perfect. You know, I watch the news, and I live in this town, and my hometown is Baltimore. So, you know, I'm still dealing with my family, my people going with stuff. But if you take a look at how it used to be, and the fact that in order to get to where you are now, a lot of people made tremendous sacrifices, and as Jack discovered, stood strong with it. And for me, it was personal. I was in this film called Rosewood with John Voight and Don Cheadle and some other great guys. And you know, as actors, it was about a town where this one town a white township destroyed a black township. And it was interesting because when you are doing a film, you have rehearsals. And we're rehearsing these scenes in which guys who were sitting around having a few drinks and eating lunch, but then for 12 hours, they have to dehumanize me and the other actors, you know, Esther Roll, Don Cheadle, Ving Rhames, you know, and you're talking about great guys like John Voight and Robert Patrick, great guys who, oh my gosh, I love their work, and they're fantastic individuals, but we all left work going like, I feel horrible. And so this is a wonderful example of how you can take something that's going on in the modern days and what we want to say about society and how we should not take things for granted, the freedoms and the liberties that we have, and the freedoms and the liberties that we continue to try to work toward in this setting. And I mean, Jack, the actor, I don't remember his name, but man,
Franz Drama.
Thank you.
Franz Drama did such a great job this episode.
Great job. You nailed it, man. You crushed it. It was a great episode. And I love the way it started out. I was a little confused.
Yeah.
You know?
I liked, because I love what you said about it, and I think that was definitely their intention with making this episode. So I think that in some spots the execution wasn't perfect, but you could see the good intentions, and you got a great performance out of Franz Drama, and they also made sure to say that right now the present isn't perfect either, that there's still a long way to go.
Exactly.
So even though we have come far, you know, there's still so much further to go.
Done.
And I also like that they were allowed, even with the psychic connection, when Martin said to Jax, like, even though we are psychically linked, I don't know what you have gone through, and I couldn't ever know what you've gone through. And I was like, it's good that they are bringing that in. You know, like, it's not like we are all one. We've all experienced these hardships. Like, it's not true.
And he never, and he didn't take the other thing, like, I know what you've been through, because he didn't. He never had, and he never will. You know. But the thing, so let's start out about how it started. It confused me because I saw this ship, and I'm like, who's this? And what's his
I didn't know who he was, and we never really found out. He doesn't matter.
No, he's just some time pirate, crashed on a planet, and he's got some cooties.
Some cooties, right? You know? Just zombie cooties.
He's got some zombie cooties. What is it? TX-90 bioweapon. It's like in him, and he goes out and starts, you know, chatting it up with the local folk.
That was and exploding on them. And like, did he know he had it beforehand? I don't know. Like, we can't spend too much time on him, obviously, but that was one like really weird opening.
And the moment you saw his eyes, you're like, this is how it gets here.
Exactly.
But then that leads into the next thing, which I thought they carried over from last week, and that's Rain Palmer trying to figure out, where do I fit in?
Yeah.
You know, he's still at that, I don't have a suit. I'm inadequate now, you know? He's got performance issues.
Yeah, and he tries, like, he's being like the comm operator at first, and they just turn it off. They don't want to hear him. Poor Ray.
You know, he was trying, I'll be lieutenant of, oh, no, I can't do that. What do you want me to do? So it was really great to introduce that, you know, quickly and stuff. We find out the mission. We find out they've got to go out there. They got to, you know, get the ship. And along the way, they run into Henry Scott.
Yes.
Henry Scott, and again, a little bit of history telling right there. I mean, there were blacks who were free people who worked for the government. And he, you know, portrayed a character who was, I guess, going to get some plans, a map, and he was supposed to take it to General Grant.
Warn the general of the enemies.
And so they run into him, And, you know, spoiler alert, he got killed.
Oh, that was so awful to watch. That was so. I definitely didn't think he was going to die so quickly.
Right,
Like, I was like,
yeah.
oh, what?
Yeah. And I've mentioned it, you know, on a couple of the other shows that we've done. A lot of Walking Dead references,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it was a zombie show. And watching them fight, and of course, and then Mick. Mick.
Ugh, Mick gets infected.
gets bit.
That was another surprising thing. You know,
Mick
it's like,
gets infected.
yeah.
Well,
And he's already like the most zombie-like of the members. So it was not that big of a stretch.
the thing that was really, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so bad. It was the biggest, baddest dude of them all.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, if you're gonna have somebody, you know, get infected, you know, maybe you want it to be Ray.
Right. Yeah, because he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have any extra powers.
I don't have my suit. You know?
But Mick being infected led to us immediately seeing what Ray's place is.
Right.
You know, like as a scientist, as the you know, he's like coming up with the vaccine, which at first it didn't seem to work, but then we learn it's just time lapse or whatever. It just takes a little while. So that was great, and we got to see Martin.
What do you think about Martin's phobia?
Oh my God, it was so hilarious, and it's always so fun to see him be flustered, you know, because he's like the professor. He's always got everything under control.
Oh no,
but when it comes to zombies,
he wasn't just flustered. No.
He could not
peed his
handle it.
pants.
He
Look
could
at him.
not handle it.
Right now, he needs some Depends on because he is soiled. He is
That
not a
was-
happy
that
camper.
was so
He was
amazing.
not, and it was weird. He gets a little flustered. He is overly cautious. But again, being terrified like that, no!
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. But
Yeah.
like you said, we got to see Ray kind of redefine his role.
Right.
But
And by saving Mick from becoming a zombie, we got to see them sort of grow
Exactly,
a little closer.
exactly. Yeah, that later on at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But now we get on to the side story. The side story, and this is where I thought we saw some really cool character stuff develop. You know, the conversation about Jack talking about, I'm going to go out there, and I'm not going to be afraid to go out just because I'm black and it's 1863. The line, look, and this is something, now maybe if you've never heard it said or if you never understood it, maybe this episode help you understand the next time you hear a black person, an African American go, I've been black all my life. Because it really does mean something. It's like, it's not like this is a new experience for me.
Right.
It's not like I'm not aware of it, but the crazy
same
thing
time-
was he wasn't really aware.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time,
what he
of
was
course,
going to
he was
encounter.
not going to, you know, it is a totally new level of
Oh my
awful,
gosh.
you know, of degradation.
Oh, it was a whole different level.
So it was really upsetting to have to watch him and Amaya both bear witness to and experience those injustices.
And I like the fact that they stepped up, though, knowing what they were going to be confronted, or at least having an idea of what the obstacles they were going to be before them.
Right.
They both said, no, we're going to go do this. And then you got to see you got to see Sara. You got to see Sara kind of, you know, going through her thing of like, well, who am I? Like, almost like Ray Palmer. Not who am I, where I fit in.
Yeah, but like,
she was
what kind
having
of leader am I going to be?
Right, she was having some issues, some doubts about like her ability.
Right, and she doesn't like making the tough calls because she's putting people that she cares about in different positions.
Exactly, right. You know, but so now she's got this side, she goes up, they meet Grant. They've got that going on.
Ulysses Grant was much nicer in this story than he was in real life. Just saying.
Wait, so I didn't know you met him in real life. You know,
when I met him, he was a jerk. He was a jerk. No, but you know, you've heard he was like a drunk. You know, he's sort of like a drunken lout. You know,
Grant wouldn't return her call.
And he clearly was not like. But you know, like the way that they had the Union soldiers like react to the slaves and be like, "Oh, you come have food, come fight with." And you're like, you know, that didn't happen like that.
Yeah, no.
Just because you were anti-slavery didn't mean that you weren't also racist.
A little embellishment
Like,
on history, on the sci-fi show, but the fact that they were interacting. But now back to come on, still, why is it Nate still like waffles about being able to use this?
Yeah, that's true.
What is the deal with him?
I guess we're gonna sort of like Ray. We're gonna have a more drawn out like. Learning to just be able to control that ability, maybe.
I don't know.
But they didn't even really bring it up. Like literally, until you just said that, I forgot that Nate still had powers.
My point exactly. My point exactly.
Yeah.
Zombies are like, oh no, I can't really control. I'm like, dude, you should be the one stealing up and then popping these zombies. Like out of everybody, he's the one that I would send out first. You go in front of us, plow the field, let us come walk in your path. But no, he's still like having these issues again. Like, I mean, I don't understand why he doesn't know what he's capable of, why he can't control it. It just seems to be a matter of convenience.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Kinda weird.
And it's kind of annoying. It's early. It's only, it's only the second episode with the powers.
Yeah.
But I
So
hope they
hopefully
don't continue that out
yeah,
too
I'm
much.
sure that we're going to see that. It's sort of like they dropped the main plot this episode, too.
Yeah.
You know, there was literally no memory of Reverse Flash, of Damien Dark, etc.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that. Like, they'll pick it back up next
Hopefully,
week.
yeah. But the idea of like, but when they did use him,
Yeah.
when they did use him, he got on top of that the dynamite.
Yeah.
The zombies were attacking. He got on top of the
finally,
dynamite.
like that was really cool. Yeah,
He started clicking.
and you know, then that was so cute when Sara was worried about him, and then he comes out and he's like, nope, I'm cool, you know.
By the way, this is something weird thing, but shouldn't he have been naked? I mean,
That's, you know, I
Big
wonder about that with
explosion.
the
He was
Hulk
still-
too. You know,
yeah.
like every time something happens like that, and you gotta change, and you're expanding, like your clothes should rip at least.
He gets on a crate of dynamite. It explodes. Everything goes kaboom.
He just got the right
changes
clothes.
back, and he gets up, and he's like, "Oh, I just got a scratch. It's just a flesh wound." You know.
Shadow Phoenix had a question, which is, since Amaya is traveling outside of time with the Legends, will the JSA still remember her? And I don't know if they're going to follow their own time travel rules, but I have a feeling that they're going to still remember her. Or at the very least, once she comes back, the power of love will make them remember her.
I think maybe, yeah, you're right. I think it also maybe depending upon when they come back. If they come back at a point in time in which too much time hasn't gone by, so her memory with them is still relatively recent.
Yeah.
Then, you know, because a lot of times with time travel, and we've seen it all, sometimes it takes a while for the wave of time, the ripple, to go through and catch up to the present moment. So, you know, I think it's a good chance that they'll remember.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
a good chance. Yeah.
And other like overarching stories, and the only one you really had in this episode was Jackson Stein hearing a little bit more of Barry's message, which is that a war is coming.
Right.
And I think you guys in the comments are dead on that. That's going to relate to the crossover, right? Like the war that's coming is the Dominators.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like the fact they're planting little seeds.
Yeah.
And once again, they're listening to it. You got Martin and Jax, only two listening to it.
Yeah.
And I love the way, once again, they didn't let us hear it again.
No, we didn't get to hear the whole thing.
But
there's two shows right now that have some connection to the Dominators, which is Legends has Barry with that message, and Supergirl has a Daxamite. And the Daxamites in the Invasion comic book are part of the Legion that invades Earth along with the Dominators. Now, I don't know if that's going to, obviously, it's destroyed right now, but I think that maybe Mon-El will have some valuable information that he can provide to Kara when she comes over.
If they're going to follow the comic book canon, or they're going to put their own little spin to it.
Exactly.
And are they going to figure out a way? I don't even want to think about it. Time travel and crossovers, I love them. but let's leave it to the writers' room.
Exactly. I don't want to be the one
let's
writing
leave it to the writers' room.
We did have that awesome moment with Mick and Ray at the end.
Yes, it was a great moment. You know, again, they got to share a moment with Ray helping him out. Mick kind of confessing, and I think I may have mentioned it last time about how Mick is maybe missing.
Yes, of course, he's missing his partner.
And they seem to follow through with that, and they listen to me too.
Yay! You write the show too. Good job.
But yeah, it was really cool to kind of like have a mellow moment.
Yeah.
And make that move and hand him the gun.
Exactly, when he passed him that gun and showing like that I know that you have the ability to be a great man like Captain
You may not have the suit, but you're a smart guy. Here's something, and I'm looking for a partner.
Exactly. That was great. That was so great.
He's looking for a partner. Now, I want to step back because we talked a little bit about the situation with Jack and Amaya, but in the middle of the whole episode is him being captured.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, again, hearkening back to the difference in the mindset of 21st century. You're thinking you're being nice. I bump into you. I grab your arm and go, I'm sorry, Tatiana. And yet, all of a sudden, that could get me killed. And then hearing the story about how they were, just the dehumanization of the slaves. And it was interesting because at one point, he didn't want to save the slave who was being beaten because we got to be concerned about the mission.
They had to preserve history.
But then the line that got me was, this is the real history that needs to be fixed.
Yes, that's the aberration in history.
That's the aberration in history.
That was a great line.
I went, oh my gosh. He is now forever changed, and then it became a mission to get them all out. And it was, like I said, it was a great message. It could have been executed better.
But you can, like I said, you can see the intentions.
You see the intention, and because the fact that you and I are talking about it, it means that the message got through.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully other people that were watching also got that message.
Exactly.
The one more thing that I loved in that scene was when Amaya's talking, and one of the women sees her amulet and recognizes it from her village, and is like, oh, she's a warrior from that village. I want to trust her. And then everyone else is like, well, if you trust her, then I trust her.
Right.
It was lovely to see a little bit more like the Vixen,
Yeah.
you know, just a hint of Vixen, and then also, of course, just how someone can be inspirational, and like symbols have a lot of power, you know, and sort of like, you know, with other things like religion and all kinds of, like, that's why people are inspired by that.
Exactly. Yeah, they see this and they realize it takes them to a place as something they can relate to, and yeah, it's an inspiration. But also symbolism. The other thing that I gotta kind of go, you have your moment, man. Jack's watching the house burn.
That was some like Django Unchained.
Exactly.
Like,
you know, he's like, I gotta go, but hold up, let me relish in this.
Yeah.
And it was almost like he wanted to like tweet that. Yo, look, I did this. #fire. #fire. If he had a cell phone with him right now, he would be like taking a selfie with the fire, posting that everywhere.
There was just a lot of.
I'm glad he had that moment.
Yeah, because Stein wasn't with him this episode, so he wasn't really Firestorm. But you see Jax being a hero, even when he's not a superhero.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, again, you know, I know a lot of people out of the 4 shows we talk about here on the CW, Legends, I think, is again doing that thing that Arrow's doing. It's finding his footwork.
Right.
It's finding his legs, and I think that this is going to be kind of that pivotal one that will start to connect the shows for that major, awesome crossover that we know is coming.
Yeah.
Don't keep us waiting.
We have to wait for election, and then a couple more episodes, and then a crossover.
All right, well, okay. If I have to,
it'll be okay. It'll be like a month. Don't worry. You can handle it. I know you can do it.
Okay. But listen, by the way, look, we want to again say thank you for watching us. And we also took the time, once again, to see what you people are doing and what it is that you're into. And we want to make sure that you continue sending stuff to us. Send us some memes, send us some pictures. You know, you may see some other faces popping in and out of here. And everybody that sits down at this table is just a fanatic just like us.
Yeah.
We inside and out. And even me, you know me, I like the synergy. I'll talk a little Marvel if I have to. I'll sprinkle it in. DC Universe, but we can all get along.
Yeah, exactly. We're all one. We're all one. All right, guys.
Well,
thank you so much for joining us this week, and I hope that you come back next week for more shows minus Flash.
No, right? Hurry back. I'll have a cape next time. I'm bringing in capes.
More heroes should wear capes.
Capes.
Yeah.
Forget Edna. No capes. I want capes.
Bye.